Okay, so sorry we went right past the opening, but this is chapter 14, the section of this chapter where we're focusing on the quiz material. And so the first slide here is, this focuses on beliefs and critical thinking and epistemological beliefs. And so stages of beliefs and knowing. Well, for young children, it's called the realist stage, and the belief system there is that knowledge copies reality and is the same for everyone. An absolutist belief is the elementary school level, and at this level, experts know what is correct and incorrect. A multiplistic point of view, which comes in adolescence, is knowledge is not absolute, and experts often disagree about what's correct and what's incorrect. And then the evaluativistic approach in early adulthood, ideas can be judged on the basis of sound argument and evidence. And that means that we're going to utilize critical thinking skills. And so for information processing then in adolescence, in regards to attention, the three aspects of attention, sustained, selective, and executive, improve in middle childhood through adolescence. And together, these changes make it easier for children to focus their attention and ignore incoming stimulus. In regards to memory, aspects of memory improve during adolescence. They're including working memory capacity and using effective strategies to remember things that they need to remember and expand their knowledge base. And they're better able to organize information into their long-term memory. And then children's speed of processing on different tasks follows similar developmental functions that peaks in middle adolescence. And then lastly, metacognitive understanding improves considerably in adolescence. For example, as adolescents gain experiences with science problems, they become more aware of how to think critically. So they're better able to become a more competent decision maker. They can identify possible options. They can assess the risks and benefits that may result from these options. They can evaluate how desirable each consequence is, estimate the likelihood of each consequence, and then uses the information from the previous steps in an organized fashion to decide on a course of action. But then, of course, the social context matters as they make decisions. They may not be as able to follow this competent decision-making process if they're with their friends and there is some peer pressure. So students with higher intelligence quotients are better at reading and math skills, and a positive academic self-concept tend to do well in school. Motivation, though, is also important. So intrinsic motivation, for that kind of motivation, the individual performs an activity for its own sake and out of their own personal interest, whereas extrinsic motivation performs an activity to receive an award or avoid a punishment. And the goal, long term, I think, for school and parents is wanting children to become more intrinsically motivated. Mastery goal orientation focuses on inherent value of learning and improving one's knowledge and skill. Performance goal orientation involves demonstrating one's ability either by getting a good score or grade or outperforming others. And lastly, the work avoidance orientation consists of procrastination or engagement in activities that interfere with completing a task. So obviously that one is not going to be conducive to academic achievement. So when it comes to parenting, authoritative parenting is associated with higher school achievement. And if you remember, authoritative listens to the child's opinion. The child can have some input, but the parent makes the final decision. And it works best if children know what is expected, and they care about, they value their parents' motivation, their parents' goals for them. Students who perceive their teachers to be caring tend to be more emotionally engaged with school and have higher levels of achievement. And emotional and cognitive engagement with school declines, though, between the grades of 7 and 12 because they become they're more discriminating in the kinds of curricular materials that are used and how the instruction is being presented to them. So overall, large urban high schools are not serving the needs of their students. And some important factors related to why we say that is class sizes, and the overall size of the campus is too big. Teachers don't have maybe the qualifications that they should have. The instruction isn't personalized. Common core curriculum might be implemented when most teachers don't have training in child development and don't understand common core concepts. And then support for struggling students often is not available. And so another factor that comes into play when it comes to achievement is from this stage environment fit model that looks at the importance of a child's autonomy and control of their education and their own achievement, and then the impact on the teacher-student relationship. And following that stage environment fit model, schools would form more smaller learning communities, maybe focused on maybe a possible career option, grouping teachers into teams to work with students rather than having just one teacher work with the students. And so then let's take a look at dropout rates in regards to educational reforms. So factors that seem to influence dropout rates from high school is teacher qualifications. High quality teachers lead to high student achievement and fewer dropouts. Instructional practices, engaged learning, and students have a sense of belonging because they have more control over the instructional practices, fewer dropouts. Zero tolerance policies. Unfortunately, lack of support for students leads to more dropouts. Students need both structure and support. So what adolescents say they want from their teachers is positive interpersonal relationships in regards to academics and personal caring. They want the classroom to be organized with the teacher in authority but not rigid. And they want the teacher to be a good motivator, creative, and innovative in their instruction. So some STEM educational reforms would be efforts to reduce the gap between the United States and other industrial countries in achievement. Programs encourage girls and underdeveloped minorities to pursue STEM careers. And so this is science, technology, and science, technology, and math, sorry. And then some elements of reform is creation of personal connections, and we've heard that several times already, rigorous curriculum, and opportunity structures, physical and social supports for STEM careers in the geographic location of the schools. So introducing students to different kinds of careers in their local communities.